You have $9 billion, that's $9,000 million missing in the last few years. It's alleged to be fraudulently stolen. They're sending money, the Somali community in Minnesota sending money, big money, overseas. They're contributing money, big money, to Democrat candidates and elected officials. The Democratic political machine in Minnesota has benefited from this criminal network of Somali immigrants who have systematically stolen billions.
This wasn't a simple oversight. It wasn't just a streak of bad luck. This is what happens when a political system operates without accountability, and now Minnesota is dealing with the consequences. Under Governor Tim Walz, a program meant to provide meals for struggling children spiraled into one of the largest fraud scandals the country has seen. And now, a House oversight hearing led by Representative Clay Higgins is starting to expose what really went wrong. Higgins didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't sidestep the issue. He zeroed in on the central question: how did this unfold under Walz's leadership, and why was it allowed to continue for so long, even after clear warning signs were raised?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Robbins and Mr. Hudson, Ms. Rarick, you're all members of the Minnesota State Legislature, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Robbins, you're the chair of the Fraud Prevention Oversight Committee, is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Hudson and Ms. Rarick, you're members of that committee as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
All right. So you three collectively, America should clearly understand you have an excellent perspective what's going on inside Minnesota, in specifically regards to the fraud that we are investigating and discussing today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have a particular community, a Somali community in Minnesota, that has stunning percentages are participating in government programs where they're drawing a lot of money, big money. This has been discussed and revealed and reported and is factual. You have a tremendous amount of criminal fraud taking place that one of my colleagues, the gentleman from the other side of the aisle, mentioned transparency. I would argue that from a regular American's perspective, it's quite transparent that something criminal is going on when you have billions of dollars disappearing into child care centers with no children in them, and you have a tremendous transfer of wealth into a relatively small immigrant community. You have $9 billion, that's $9,000 million missing in the last few years. It's alleged to be fraudulently stolen. They're sending money, the Somali community in Minnesota sending money, big money, overseas. They're contributing money, big money, to Democrat candidates and elected officials. The Democratic political machine in Minnesota has benefited from this criminal network of Somali immigrants who have systematically stolen billions of dollars of federal charitable money, essentially. The good lady, my colleague, clarified this is money designed for poor folk that need a hand up. And we generally want that to happen in America in an effective manner. So this is the scenario that we are looking into today. Have I summed it up fairly well, Ms. Robbins?
Yes, sir. And I would just like to add...
Before you add, Mr. Hudson, is this an effective summary, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you, Ms. Rarick.
Yes.
Thank you. So from the perspective of members of the Fraud Investigative Committee of the Minnesota State Legislature, we have a large criminal network with high percentages of participation in that criminal network from the Somali community in Minnesota. That community has tremendous influence within the political arena, specifically within the Democrat political arena in Minnesota. The Democrat political machine has been covering for this criminal network, and here we go to Governor Walz's involvement here, which is shocking to me, quite frankly, because I've been friendly with Governor Walz for many years. I served with him here. But can you discuss for me the governor's administration's involvement in intimidation and oppression and retaliation against whistleblowers? Ms. Robbins, have you had conversations with whistleblowers who have been treated like that by the Walz administration?
Yes, I have.
And what can you tell us about that without naming the person or revealing stuff that's secret? Tell us how that retaliation would happen.
So it happens in a variety of ways. They are demoted or reassigned, or they are told that they could lose their job and then their house or their pension or their retirement benefits or not qualify for unemployment. So it's...
Well, that's very serious. That's very serious allegation. I would say that's criminal retaliation. Mr. Hudson and Ms. Rarick, have you seen similar?
I would defer to Representative Rarick.
Yes. So Representative Robbins and once in a while Representative Hudson have had multiple conversations with whistleblowers, and that is exactly what they said to us, especially in a face-to-face meeting in St. Paul. That is exactly
Unbelievable.
what they said.
Mr. Chairman, my time has expired, but this leans into the criminal spectrum, sir. I yield.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Walkinshaw from Virginia.
I think I was here first.
They told me Walkinshaw.
And then,
I'm happy to defer.
Yeah.
thank you. And Mr. Min?
I'm just doing what the Democrat staff says. Walkinshaw's next.
According to testimony and court filings, officials in Minnesota were warned as early as 2020 that something was seriously wrong with the Feeding Our Future program. Millions were flowing out unchecked. The paperwork didn't add up. Whistleblowers raised alarms, and still, no meaningful action followed. Not until the Federal Bureau of Investigation stepped in. Not until hundreds of millions had already vanished. That's not leadership. That's neglect, but it doesn't stop there. Representative Clay Higgins pointed to what investigators now describe as a much broader criminal network. Probes have expanded into more than a dozen Medicaid-related programs, including autism services and housing assistance. Prosecutors estimate the total fraud exposure could approach $9 billion. Let that sink in, $9 billion. Funds meant for vulnerable communities, funneled instead through a maze of nonprofits, shell organizations, and alleged political protection luxury cars. Real estate. Lavish lifestyles, while taxpayers were kept in the dark. And when state employees tried to intervene, they were allegedly pushed back. Data was reportedly deleted. Warnings, buried. That doesn't look like an isolated failure. It looks like a system closing ranks. Then came the timing that raised even more questions. As investigations intensified, Governor Tim Walz announced he wouldn't seek another term, citing distractions. But stepping aside doesn't settle the issue. It doesn't answer the questions. And it doesn't halt federal scrutiny. Higgins made one thing clear: this investigation is far from finished. Lawmakers are now examining whether taxpayer dollars were routed overseas, potentially even reaching extremist-linked networks, raising the stakes from fraud to national security. The bottom line is hard to ignore. This didn't happen in secret. It unfolded in plain sight. Warnings were raised, and ignored. Leadership didn't act, or didn't act soon enough. Minnesota didn't just stumble. It was let down by those responsible for overseeing the system. The only question now is what accountability will actually look like.